Hi, it's Friday the 8th of May, 2026, and welcome to this week's My Thoughts vlog. Now, as per usual, it's unscripted, just me talking to camera, and just my own thoughts and opinions, no one else's. This week, I want to ask you a question. Would you willingly fly an aircraft into a mushroom cloud following a nuclear explosion? Would you? Not sure I would. That must be well dangerous. And it is. And the reason I ask this is because on the 1st of May, a new exhibition opened at the Wings Museum in West Sussex, and it is dedicated to those brave men who did something called cloud sampling. The exhibition is called Into the Atom, and I thoroughly recommend going there if you're in the West Sussex area, or even if you're not, it'd be worth a trip. I'm hoping to go there one day myself soon. Now, not a lot of people know about this sort of activity. What happened was, once a nuclear weapon is exploded, as we know, the mushroom cloud goes into the air and it's full of all sorts of radioactive debris and fire and smoke and ash and all this kind of stuff. And it's lethal. It's pure radioactive fallout. And what the government at the time, or the military, wanted to find out was exactly what's in there and how radioactive it is. So they had an idea that they would ask or order men to fly Canberra bombers directly into the mushroom cloud following the explosion. Now that sounds absolutely horrendous. Who would ask someone to do that? And what sort of man would it take to actually do it? My word, they are the bravest of the brave. And the exhibition is centered around those men and their brave sacrifice, because they were supposed to fly, certainly for some of them, they were supposed to fly through the mushroom clouds, and they were only allowed to reach exposure level of 10 Rontgen. And after that, they weren't allowed to fly anymore. But if you look at some of the records, which we have, these men willingly, when some readings didn't quite work out, flew back. And their readings, they got 3 times that amount. They knew that they'd already had radiation, and they chose to fly back in. Now that is sacrifice, isn't it? Because we all know radiation's bad for you. And that is dedication, that is sacrifice, and it's quite right there's an exhibition to these men. And it's the first permanent exhibition in the UK to nuclear tests. And so there should be more of them, and so we should visit them. Now, if you want to, as I say, it's in West Sussex. They've got a website which is wingsmuseum.co.uk. Thoroughly recommend going to see it. Now, for me, one of the interesting points is, which was brought up to me today, was that this museum was created by 2 brothers, and the exhibition itself was sort of initiated by a lady called Simone, who I know very well, and her dad was a navigator on one of these such aircraft. His name is Joe Pasquini. Again, a brave man, really brave man, and he wrote a lot of memoirs about the experience, and his descriptive power is unparalleled, and I just don't know how they did it. He describes it as flying into hell. I mean, can you imagine what sort of person it would take to be the first to do it? Because at the time, it wasn't even known whether it was survivable. I mean, there were theories that it was possible to fly through a mushroom cloud, but because no one had ever done it, no one was 100% sure what it was like in there. You're asking men to fly an aircraft. And I don't know if you saw the BBC documentary that I was in, but at the beginning, there's a photograph of a Canberra bomber alongside a mushroom cloud, and it is a speck. it is tiny compared to the mushroom cloud. So I can't imagine what those men went through and the fear they must have had, and they did it. They did it because it was their supposed duty to all of us. And we owe it. We owe them a huge debt of gratitude. We owe so much to those guys, because what a job. And then the same guys, they probably did it multiple times. And then those planes had to land, and then they were cleaned, and samples were taken off the planes. And those men as well, highly exposed to radiation, because those aircraft, those Canberras, would have been absolutely red hot with radiation. And it's been described to me just today that how claustrophobic that Canberra bomber was, especially at the front, because it was a front observer bit. And I just can't fathom it, flying into a mushroom cloud in a small tin can. Wow. And for me, the most unbelievable bit is, do you remember when we did the medal campaign and how many times it was turned down because there wasn't enough risk or rigour? Let that sink in. Flying into a mushroom cloud in a relatively small aircraft, no risk or rigour? I doubt the medals committee who made that decision would do that themselves, would they? So I just thought I'd bring this museum and its exhibition to your attention. And the museum itself was created by two brothers who have a connection to the nuclear tests. Their uncle was one of those men who decontaminated the aircraft. He decontaminated the engines, I think it was. So it does go to show that, yes, sadly we are losing veterans, but we are keeping their work alive, and we are keeping their memory alive by doing things like the exhibitions. It's entirely done by descendants, and that's not going to stop. And certainly we won't stop with the campaigning until we get justice for them. So yeah, I just really wanted to talk about this because it's a piece of history, isn't it? It's a piece of history that nobody knows. Few people know about the nuclear tests themselves, but this is, I think, particularly noteworthy. So yeah, look it up. wingsmuseum.co.uk. Have a little look, and plan a trip, take your kids, educate, get some education around this. That's what's missing in these days. But yeah, so I shall leave you there because that's been probably enough for today, hasn't it? You don't want me rambling on forever. Weather's a bit overcast, but I'm hoping it'll be a fine weekend. So whatever you're up to, have fun, enjoy, and thank you for watching. Any comments, any questions, just leave them in the comments or whatever, and I'll answer them next time. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.